Um, Today we will be going over the press kit that was just launched last month, um, going over some state officer candidate deadlines and reminders, and discussing about SoCal CDC, NorCal CDC, and SV CDC. And also we're going to talk about competition preparation for the district conferences. And then we're going to wrap it up with a Q&A from everybody.
So before we oh, sorry, Chris, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to reintroduce myself. I'm Christopher Carlsen. I'm the Vice President of Southern California DECA.
Hi, I'm Wenhan. I'm the Vice President of Silicon Valley.
Okay, and you guys know my name is Yash. I'm the NorCal VP. And yeah, as Wenhan already introduced himself, just want to clarify, we do have our new Silicon Valley Vice President, and he's here on our call today. So Silicon Valley people, you'll get your information from the right person. All right, so let's dive right into it. Chris?
Yeah, so last month we launched the online press kit, and we actually got 3 submissions. We got 1 submission from Washington High School, 1 in NorCal, 1 submission from Mills High School in Silicon Valley, and 1 submission from Martin Luther King High School in Southern California. And they submitted press releases to our Vice President of Public Relations, Joel Beckwith. And in the coming time, those press releases will be sent to the local media outlets in their respective areas. So like the local newspaper for Martin Luther King High School would be in the Riverside area. And we just want to remind everyone to continue to submit press releases and any photos that they have of their chapter to Joel's email account. And I actually have it. I'm about to post it in the chat right now. And yep, so you can just email, if you don't want to write a full press release about what's going on with your chapter, you can always just send a photo with a caption of the photo of what's going on. And this will really contribute to the unity of all of California DECA in all 3 districts. So I'm impressed that we got 3 submissions on our first month of launching it. So I just want to say I'm proud of all the high schools that sent in photos and press releases, and I'm looking forward to more submissions.
All right, so moving on. And by the way, if you guys have any questions pertaining to any topic, please feel free to ask, whether it's now or later. So if you have anything immediately, go ahead and let us know.
I have a quick question. So regarding the press releases, is there any specific content on the releases you want, or just like anything about our chapter in general?
So I can answer this one. Really, if your chapter did a specific event in your area, then you can talk about that, or what's going on with your chapter. Having maybe if your area doesn't really know what DECA is, you can. This is a great way to expand in your area and advocate about DECA in your community. So it can really be a variety of things. If you're looking for more information about it, feel free to email or contact Joel, because he's the main person behind it. But that's basically it.
All right, so if there aren't any other questions, we can move on. So I think everybody knows already, the time is coming close to the district career development conferences. So I hope you're prepping your competitors for this event. And we'll give you I think everybody knows what this entails, but we'll give you the details. For NorCal, the conference is January 13th through 15th, and it's at the same location, Santa Rosa Marriott, where it's been for the past couple of years. So nothing new there. Chris, you want to give the SoCal details?
Yep. So SoCal will be It's going to be held at the Wyndham Anaheim Garden Grove. It's been held there many times before. And then also this is going to be one of the hotels used for ICDC 2017 in Anaheim, which is cool. And basically there we're going to have a talent show competition like we've had in previous years before. And we'll also have a sort of game night, social activity night. And overall, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Wenhan, do you want to talk about Silicon Valley?
Yeah, so the Silicon Valley Career Development Conference is going to be a week before NorCal and SoCal, so it's going to be January 6th to 8th. It's going to be held where it's usually been held. It's going to be at the San Jose Marriott. We're going to have some activities such as a talent show. We're going to have more information about electing a new VP of Silicon Valley coming in the next week or so, and that's about it. Registration is now currently closed, but for the chapters in Silicon Valley that haven't registered and still wish to register, just contact me. I'll shoot my email in the chat, and I'll try to work something out with you guys. Cool. That's it.
So in terms of the social activities, still figuring out NorCal situation in terms of talent show, or people had asked about a Mr. or Mrs. NorCal competition. So we'll see what turns out, and I'll give you an update based on that. So that being said, I hope you guys are prepared. I hope your competitors are ready. And for the district VP positions, let's hope your candidates are prepped. And that is the next topic of discussion. So Chris, you can dive into that.
Yeah, before I talk about that, there's actually going to be a blog post coming up in the next week or week or so about prepping for how to prepare for district competition and what you need to do to prepare as far as competition goes and as far as packing goes. So you should keep an eye out for that on the California DECA.org website. And then going into candidate deadline and reminders. So for district VPs, a lot of the deadlines were due on December 8th. And really there's no going back from that. All the submissions were due. But for the district VPs, there's one more date coming up on December 20th. There's a candidate online briefing meeting. It's on a video call just like this, and it's going to be held at 4 to 5 p.m. The candidates will be notified if they've once they've been confirmed, they'll be invited to that meeting and they'll be sent the details. So that's all there is for the district VPs. For appointed positions and president, there's a lot of dates coming up. So on December 20th is the last day to email coach@californiadeca.org to request your screening interview at district CDC. So the people who are running for those positions, they will have a meeting with a board member at the district conference and just talking about the requirements for being a state officer and expectations for being a state officer, and just making sure that you're a qualified candidate. Once you've gone through that interview, then on February 2nd is the main day where all of the materials are due. So your advisor nomination form, the candidate application forms, your commercial video, they're all due on that day and they must be submitted by 11:59 p.m., no exceptions. And then after that, there's on February 16th, there's another online briefing video from 4 to 5 p.m. And this is all available in the candidate packet online, californiadeca.org/candidate. It's all there. I can link the packet in the chat like I had before, but it's all there. And then on March 2nd, that's the first day of the state conference. That is when you can have an option to turn in your portfolio and show all your electors what you've done.
Yeah, so I know that a few of you have asked questions about the VP of Silicon Valley position, and that information is currently still tentative. So we'll let you know in the coming weeks more about the application process for that, and as Christopher talked about, the interviews and the training that's involved with that.
Are there any questions regarding the candidate process or questions overall about going through it?
If you ever have any questions later on, then feel free to either email us or message us or whatever is easiest for you. I know I've already gotten a bunch of emails for NorCal specifically, and even a few appointed positions. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask us. We'd be more than happy to answer them for you, whether it's now or later on.
If not, then another thing I would like to bring up is for district CDC for NorCal and SoCal, we might need some assistance as far as the award ceremony goes, as far as passing out awards and all of that, because I know at SoCal, there's just going to be Joel and I, and at NorCal, it'll be the 3 NorCal officers. So we might need some assistance, and we might look to you, the presidents of, for some assistance. We'll message you if we need anything, if we want you to help us with the awards. Also, another reminder, the President's Council form online on californiadeca.org, make sure you fill that out. I'm pretty sure it is on the homepage of the website. When you go on californiadeca.org, make sure you fill out your name, your chapter. So this is for you can be recognized at the state conference. Your name will be on the pamphlet where it will say your chapter and your name next to it because you're the president of that chapter. Yash, would you like to talk about NorCal DAT?
Yeah, so I left this for a dry spell, so finally I'm going to bring up some more information about it. So I mentioned earlier that NorCal DAT is happening, and I've gotten confirmation that it is for sure happening for next year. So in the next few weeks, what's going to happen is they're going to start rolling out the applications for people who want to apply. It's going to be similar in structure to what the Silicon Valley action team used to be, but there's going to be more information coming in terms of that as well. I think, Wenhan, do you want to discuss the status of Silicon Valley DAT?
So tentatively, or for this year, the upcoming year, Silicon Valley will unfortunately not be having a district action team due to our limited membership because of the CTE rule, but we're hoping that next year we'll be able to reinstate a DAT. So I'll keep you posted with as much information as I get it, but for now, Silicon Valley will not be having a district action team.
So that being said, we have NorCal DAT is happening, and Silicon Valley DAT for the next year will not occur, but hopefully we can bring it back. And the application process for NorCal DAT will be open soon. And if you have any other questions regarding that, then please do let me know. I think that the requirements for candidates and such will also be released pretty soon. So yeah, I'll release more information on that as I can. And yeah, if there are any other questions, then do let me know.
Also, again, for the state conference, the national anthem, we're looking for applicants for the national anthem singer. So far, I believe we've only had, I don't think we've had any. So I just want to push that forward and make sure that people are looking at it, spreading the word about it. It's on the homepage of californiadeca.org. Be sure to submit your applications, because we really want someone from our own membership to sing the national anthem at the state conference. That would be really cool. Also, ICDC trading pin contest. Also, not as many applicants for that either. I just want to push that out, make sure people, if they're not aware of it, that this is something that is happening. If they're interested in designing a trading pin that will be traded at ICDC 2017 in Anaheim, which is really cool. You have the chance to design California state pin and trade it with other members from other associations. Are there any questions at this time?
Feel free to message the chat as well if you don't want to ask us verbally.
Oh, um, we're also going to talk about competition tips. Josh, for preparing for competition for district, do you have any tips for the members?
Okay, so I know a lot of you guys have seen the workshops we've done at both LDC and then, well, we didn't have any chapters from California for WRLC, but we presented similar ideas to other associations. So if I were to give you a condensed idea of what you should do when you go in for competition, the biggest thing is to understand that your judge is a human being as well. So you want to treat them as such. Don't be as robotic in your approach. Make it a conversation, not a presentation. So make sure that ideas are going back and forth, or at least some verbal communications going back and forth. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And at the end of the day, it's your conversation that you're leading, not the judges. So be sure to drive your ideas as such, and you should be fine. You are the captain of your own situation, so be sure to own it. Chris, do you have anything else?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but for the district conferences, the scenarios for the role plays that you do are released online, and there's on the blog post coming up about how to prepare for district. I walk you through how like in detail how to prepare for it. So basically, on DECA Direct, they released all the individual competitions, all the individual series events, and the team decision-making series events that have specific portions of the performance indicators listed. So you don't have to study the entire performance indicator packet of what potentially might be on there. It's only a section. So for example, if you're taking you're doing the accounting individual series event, then it will have, like, for scenario 1, scenario 2, financial analysis. You only have to look for the financial analysis instructional areas inside of the giant performance indicator packet online. If I'm explaining it and you're a bit confused, once the article comes out, it might clarify some things. Also, I'll try to link the DECA Direct article that has everything listed.
Yeah, and just a reminder, especially for those of you who will be attending SVCDC, it's in a little bit over 3 weeks. So it's coming up faster than some of you might think, and it might be a good idea to drive home to your members to really prepare, especially over break, to really prepare for your written and your roleplay events, because SVCDC happens the week right after most of the people get off break. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I used to be the marketing executive for my chapter last year, and my biggest thing in that sense is, if you're practicing, if you haven't done a role play or haven't emphasized on doing role plays and such, do that now, because there's only so far that material can get you. If you can't present that material, then that's going to be problematic. So please do focus on that, as opposed to sitting and trying to binge a bunch of material.
Does anyone want to share any competition tips they've learned over the years from being a DECA member, how tips they have to prepare or how to handle themselves at the district conference?
Yeah, sure. So I'm David, filling in for Raymond. He has work right now. And just for competition tips, I mostly did team decision-making one, so I'm not going to speak about writtens, but overall, I think a lot of the times we can get caught up in emphasizing like your presentation, going in and being confident. And even though all of that stuff is important, you can't ever forget about the testing side of it, because there's been so many cases where the person or the competitor is a great presenter and they score really, really high on both of their role plays. But when it comes to testing, it kind of falls flat, and then it ends up that they don't end up placing. So I would just emphasize that it's just as important to practice presentations as practicing testing. because at the end of the day, testing is more reliable because when it comes to judges and stuff like that, sometimes you might have a judge that really likes you. Sometimes you might have a judge that is really mean. You might judge bias could play a factor sometimes. But when it comes to testing, it's always consistent. And it's like the most reliable thing within a role play competition.
Thank you. Because David, I know for the past 2 years you finished first in ICDC for your business, the team decision making events, right?
Yeah.
I just posted the link for the national anthem application, and I'm about to post the link for the trading pin application. So just give me a second. All right. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I just have a few tips from what I've noticed over the past years of competition. I've noticed a lot of the times newer members get really intimidated by judges when they're not making eye contact with them, when they're looking away, when they look disinterested. And, you know, a lot of times I feel sometimes the judges do that to throw you off a little bit and see how you'll react. So a lot of times if a judge is maybe not looking at you or looking away or not paying attention, that doesn't mean they're not listening. Maybe they may be testing you, because I've scored on role plays where the judge was totally disinterested in what I was saying, and I've gotten 90s on some of those role plays from those judges. So a lot of times judges will act disinterested. I think it's some kind of sort of test, but I really, think it's important to tell new members to not let that discourage you. And also, something I've noticed from the top, winners that I've talked to is what really sets them apart seems to be two things in the role plays. One of them is they usually all seem to create some kind of visual, some kind of graph, some kind of representation that they can show the judge, whatever that may be. And second off, something I noticed from what winners have told me is they've said that it's really important to be creative and to go outside the box a little bit. A lot of people, they do follow the prompt, but maybe don't come up with, real creative ideas. And from what they've told me, it's super important to go and come up with those ideas, to maybe even take a few, risks during the role play, because that's what seems to set them apart.
And I just want to add on to that with a couple of small tips too. So generally what really bogs a lot of our members down is their pacing. So a lot of members get really nervous when they're talking to, the judges, so they speed up a lot. And what we actually tell our members to do is, if they can, to bring in a bottle of water, and then just to remind ourselves to, take a sip of water every here and now. And that will actually slow them down and allows them to adjust their pacing. And another thing is, in regards to the visuals, one thing that we've heard over the years is that if you have extra time at the end, make like a mini business card with your actual contact information, because we've actually had one member in the previous years got an internship offer because of that. And also, what's good when practicing with members is give them the eye and stare down. So, play on your phone, do whatever, and just make no motion, and that really drills it into them and makes them work real hard. And that's it.